Please rise for the invocation. Bob, would you please lead us in the prayer?
Yes, before we pray this morning,
Amen. Color guard, please advance the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Addison? Is it Addison? Yeah. Addison, would you come forward and... Wow. Please, please, please sing us the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. I want to thank the Sons of the American Revolution Saramana chapter, which is here in Manatee and Sarasota County, for the presentation of the flag. We normally have a couple more guys, but I think summer's still going on for some of the SAR members. At this point, it is my great pleasure to get out of here. Oh, by the way, I presume that this young lady is going to be on America's Got Talent next year. They seem to like young singers. At this point, I need to get away from the lectern and turn it over to our spectacularly wonderful President Carol Bintz.
Okay, so before we get started with our program, I do have one piece of Rotary business that I'm very happy to do, and that is to induct a new member to our club. So, Chris, Paul, and Jill, would you please come to the front? And while they're getting assembled, Addison, that was spectacular. So you really need to go on America's Got Talent. So today I have the pleasure of inducting our newest member, Paul Grievous. Paul, we're looking forward to you joining our Rotary Club. You'll find that the club can be a cheering section when things are going well and a support system when they're not. You should already know that our families are an integral part of our Rotary experience. So Jill, Simon, CL? Simeon, CL? Or any other family members are always welcome to join us. Have lunch, share news, participate in projects. You know, it really is a family organization. As some of you all may know, Paul is a local attorney specializing in estate planning, probate, real and intellectual property, environmental, health, family, corporate, and contract law. What you may not know is that Dr. Paul is a scientist that worked in an array of laboratories and industries. He has a Juris Doctor from Florida State University. So sorry about the game this weekend. Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Public Health, Bachelor of Science, all from the University of South Florida. He has taught at the university level and tutored students from K through 12th grade in math and science. He has extensive pro bono experience with Legal Aid of Minnesota, where he taught courses on filing for divorce. Nothing that we want any of you to take part in. His wife, Jill, is the head attorney for Manatee County with the Department of Children and Family Services, which led to the adoption of 2 children from the system. He and Jill have been married for 13 years. Finally, one of his favorite movies is Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. Perhaps he can review that for us sometime in the future. So, Paul, today I'm presenting you with some key documents from Rotary, including the 4-way test and the object of Rotary. And Chris, if you will, place Paul's pen. Okay, and Paul, here's an additional Rotary pen, so we're challenging you to bring in another new member sometime in the next 3 months to join us here at the club, the Rotary Club of Bradenton. Paul, welcome to the Rotary Club of Bradenton. You are now the newest Rotarian in the world. So, fellow Rotarians, please stand and welcome Paul to Rotary. So now we will get on with our program. So I am very happy to introduce Catherine, or Katie Wald, the Social Studies Coordinator at Manatee, in the Manatee school system. So Katie, if you would come up and we'll start our program.
I'm Catherine Wald, Coordinator for Social Studies and the Arts K-12 for the School District of Manatee County, and I'm happy to welcome each of you to the 2021 Constitution Essay Contest Luncheon. We are so pleased that each and every one of you are here and could not be more grateful to our judges, sponsors, and the Rotary Club of Bradenton for hosting us here today at Pier 22. At this time, I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming Dr. Daniel Evans, our Deputy Superintendent, to the podium to offer a few remarks. Dr. Evans?
Thank you, Katie, and thank you, folks, for having me today. By way of introduction, my name is Dan Evans, and I'm the new Deputy Superintendent here in the school district, moving down from Pinellas County, and I'm moving down to join your community. We're moving here Friday with my wife and myself, so thank you for having me. I joined the school district, this school district, just a couple of months ago in this new position. So I'm excited to join you and join the community and take part in wonderful events like this one. Again, I'm the Deputy Superintendent, so this morning I'm representing, or this afternoon now, I'm representing our superintendent on our school board and all the fine educators in the room in celebration of these great students. And so it's always a privilege and an honor to be with folks in the community to celebrate kids, whether it's a little one, like the little girl we just heard from, or the big ones who just submitted their essays to you. I am a longtime educator, along with the other folks in the room who are here from the school district, and one of the things we get a chance to do is to kind of celebrate with you the promise of the next generation, really. I think ultimately, one thing I always tell folks who don't work in the school system is that the future is bright. And when you hear from these kids today and you see their essays, despite whatever you hear about young people, they are brilliant, they are optimistic, and they are going to take our country to places that you're going to be very, very proud of. And so I promise you that as an educator, longtime educator, and as a parent myself. I just sent my son off to college, which allowed me now to move down with my wife as an empty nester here to Bradenton. And what I would want for my son is what I would want for these kids. And I know I'm speaking on behalf of the superintendent and the board and all of the educators in Manatee County Schools. In saying this, there was a Medal of Freedom winner, Presidential Medal of Freedom winner many, many years ago. And when she got her, what do you call it, a little plaque or a little, lapel pin from the president, she said, all I wanted for folks who are contemporaries of mine, colleagues of mine, other young people, was to be a good ancestor, right? To leave my mark on this place for the short time that we're here. I love that line. Let's let that sink in. Be a good ancestor. Be a good neighbor. Be a good citizen. So what I think we're celebrating here and celebrating the winners and celebrating the Constitution itself is to take a country full of folks who are not the same and to try to make a better community out of it. What I would want, and I think you'll hear in their essays today, is a commitment to be a good neighbor, to be active in our communities, to be a good community member, to be somebody who ultimately wants to leave the place better in being a good ancestor. So what I ask of the young people here today, as we celebrate them, and they deserve our celebration, honor, and their parents, thank you parents for the work that you do, is to think in terms of how they're going to contribute to make this country better 200 now plus years after this Constitution was written. And I would say to you that we are, at the end of the day, an imperfect people, still endeavoring 200 plus years later to form a more perfect union. An imperfect people endeavoring to form a more perfect union. I pray that that work continues, and I know under the guidance of the young people here, they will someday get us there. I promise you as an educator they will. This country is in good hands, and we need to get out of the way and let them lead, and they'll do great things for us. I thank you for having me here today. I thank you for welcoming me into the community, and I wish the Rotary and our young people Godspeed. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those words, Dr. Evans. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Dave Watchdog Miner, who has supported this event since its inception several years ago and spearheads its planning each year. Mr. Miner?
Well, it's a thrill to be here, to be with all of you who recognize that this that we celebrate is really the archetype for all the world, a Constitution that talks about people and relationships in a decent, organized way. And I want to thank so many. I want to thank Kathy here particularly, who helped make this possible today, an organization. It's a lot of work. I'd like to thank MATV and Mr. Clapsaddle for being here to share with the community, and also our school district's video, and all of those who have contributed in some way, including the Manatee Education Foundation and Mary Glass. And all of those pieces were necessary for making this the success that it is. But particularly, I thank the students, the teachers, and the parents who have been imbued with these students here today and others, throughout our district, a love for our Constitution. And it's getting old, It's, I have to look at my math, but I think it's something like the 200 and, what is it? Well, anyway, it's really old, isn't it? But every year is an opportunity to, celebrate, and also to remind us that, throughout our country's history, we've had the wisdom to modify it as changes occurred in our country, our attitudes. And I think that these students here recognize that it is the bind that keeps us together. And we should all be grateful for those who came before us in writing the Constitution and making it possible that we would survive a lot of turmoil, throughout the last, couple hundred years. I want to just mention a couple things that it's 234 years. I had to do my math before coming in here because it was 1787 when they got their autographs together and said, yes, 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 this is a constitution, for all the people. And we have amendments process to make it even more all the people, which has occurred, over the last couple hundred years. The people who got together there, I think, are the most influential people in the history of our country and of the world. They were very serious about their politics, about making something that would provide order and decency for all of us. And I think that when we clap and when we pray, we give thanks to them. And I think that the topic that we have today from these students about what the Constitution means to me is something that all of us ought to reflect upon, because it is sacred in many ways. I want to thank everybody for coming today. Particularly, I mentioned that the students, but also the sponsors, the attorney firms who have put up some money for some prizes as incentives for participating, and for helping to bring all this this event. That sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Together. But I thank you for citing me for being the whipping boy at one point. Let's get it going, and it's going real well. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
At this point, we're going to invite our student winners to read their essays aloud in no particular order. First, I'd like to welcome Aura Lopez. Ignacio. Is she not here? Okay, she might be the one that's missing. For the sake of time, we're going to move on, though. I'd like to welcome Mia Rook.
Okay. The United States Constitution is a very important document and has shaped the country and its people and history as a whole for many years. The Constitution has served many purposes leading up to the present and is split into different sections and articles that explain and regulate different ideas. For example, it creates our government with 3 branches: the legislative, executive, and judicial branch. It also protects each of our rights and freedoms being American citizens. When I think of what the Constitution means to me, I think of many things. I think of my opportunities, my freedoms, and how fortunate I am to be in a country where this is possible. With the government in place by our Constitution, we're able to have a checks and balances system. The system allows the country to not fall under a dictatorship. This is especially close to me and my family. When my mom was little, her and her family left Nicaragua and immigrated to the United States. The country has a communist government, which is much different from what we have in the United States. My mom and her family moved to the United States in hopes that their rights would be guaranteed and their family would be safer. The Constitution creates our government that is very important to us United States citizens and has allowed us to have freedoms that many others don't have. To my family and I, the Constitution means that we have guaranteed rights and a better future to look forward to. Without the Constitution and government created from it for my family to look forward to, myself and many others may not be here today. For me personally, the Constitution means that my rights are protected. Because of the rights and laws under the Constitution, we are able to do some things citizens of other countries cannot do. Even certain things that we take for granted, such as our freedom of speech. With freedoms like these, we are able to do such things as participate in causes that are important to us and vote for who we want to represent the country. Along with our many freedoms, we also have limitations to them. However, these limitations are not put in to control us and have unreasonable power over us, but they are put in to protect us and everyone around us. Even though these freedoms seem so natural to us, there are many people who do not have the privilege of doing so. We can see this right now in Afghanistan. As we speak, people's rights are being taken away from them. Without the United States Constitution, events like this may be able to happen to us, and we are truly lucky to see how free we are. Whether we realize it or not, we are truly fortunate to be American citizens. If the Constitution was not made, our country may not be what it is today. Because of the because of the founding fathers who created this foundation, we are able to experience the privileges and dreams America is known for. I know myself and many others value the freedoms and rights of the Constitution has created for us. To me, the Constitution means I am protected, I have freedom, and I have the opportunity for a better future.
Nicely done. I would now like to invite Alexandra Vernon to the podium.
We the people made our Constitution. We the people approved of it, and we the people gave our trust to a select few to make the dream of freedom ring for generations to come. With no exception of every single person that steps foot here. Both of my parents are immigrants. They came to America from Estonia and Belize. I'm the first generation native-born American citizen in my family. All through my life, my mother would tell me stories of how the Russian government would censor and oppress her, and how lucky I am to live in such a great country like America. But I just brushed it off as something that a mother would say to make us more grateful of the things we've accomplished as a family. But until recently, when I actually started to learn the truth of what oppression is, I had no idea she was right. Here in America, I can talk about my differing opinions from powerful politics without my life being threatened, where she couldn't. Here in America, I can practice my belief of being a Buddhist Christian where she couldn't. Here in America, I can practice my belief of doing what I want with my life without being forced into a job where she couldn't. She didn't have the same God-given freedoms that so many of us receive here. And yet some people say that the Constitution is just a piece of paper that took months to write and perfect. And at that point, it can't just be considered paper, but art. It's a piece of art that's used every day and enforced without you even realizing it. It's reviewed over and over by the courts our founding fathers forged for us to ensure the people the document represents are being protected. This piece of our history was written by the best of the best. It gives us the right to speak our mind and gather to discuss what we believe to be true. It gives us the power to have a fair trial with an experienced judge and to be reviewed by our peers. Its great importance in our everyday lives will carry on for as long as we shall live in and under it. Our Constitution acts as a rule book as to how it's government's duty to protect its citizens and enforce laws made for the people's own betterment. Our Constitution gives us, the people, the right to overthrow a faulty government whose main concern is not the greater good of the people, but themselves. Throughout the document, it has been made evidently clear that the people who live under it are the most important variable in the country. It prepares us for every contingency where the people are not the priority. Our Constitution gives us the freedom to vote for who we think will provide the country with the utmost respect and delicacy. And most importantly, the Constitution is an established piece of history to remind us where we came from and how far we've made it to be a beloved country where freedom can bloom and we have justice and peace for all. So for me, the Constitution means so much more than freedom. It's so much more than just paper. But it's a break where you find what you've been missing from your past settlements. A sense of community and safety that will always be there to back you up like a good friend. It's a piece of artwork greater than any painting there ever was or ever be. The Constitution is a way of life.
Thank you. I'd now like to invite Jordan Baker to read his essay.
When you travel to a city, what is the first thing you notice? Perhaps it's the massive skyscrapers that paint the sky, dazzling to all who observe it from below. But what even allows for that building to stand? The foundation. The foundation of anything, especially 1,000-foot skyscrapers, are a quintessential component of anything that hopes for stability and longevity. The United States of America has one of the most revolutionary foundations of any country in the world, the Constitution. On September 17th, 1787, 39 of our founding fathers signed the Constitution, which enacted what would eventually become a beacon of hope, prosperity, and freedom. A piece of paper written 234 years ago is still the backbone element of our great nation. a great nation that ensures, protects, and demands the freedom of speech, religion, and press to its citizens. Representative democracy on the largest scale in the world. A government made for the people, by the people. When you get used to such a massive and spectacular sight like skyscrapers in New York City, you begin to take advantage of what went into it. The engineers who worked to make sure the base wouldn't suddenly collapse in on itself. In Los Angeles, these buildings are designed to withstand earthquakes, a devastating natural disaster. Our country is no different. The Founding Fathers designed a country that was revolutionary, altering the very perception of what it meant to be a free state. All the while designing something that could and has withstood this test of time. So much of our country is moving. Corrosive political issues engulf our country and seem to hold a gloomy cloud over all of us. We as a people aren't able to sit back for a moment and just absorb what our country really is. When we are able to step back and simply admire what it is that we are given the right to fight for, we can truly take in the marvelous frame that protects and ensures our free nation. Similar to that of a skyscraper in New York City, the Constitution acts as a base for which everything is built on top of. Our great country is only synonymous to greatness because of the careful consideration of our base system that allows for changes and alterations to that foundation, which allows for the progression and modernization of our country. While we are often critical of our country, regardless of political affiliation or the commitment to a social change, everyone can always revert back to one common slate of ground. That common ground is that we know that this country is what we are worth fighting for. Americans are so passionate about this country and helping it in whatever way they see fit that we can often forget that we all agree on one thing. We are just trying to make this country the best country possible. Without the Constitution, this fight wouldn't be possible. It would be unthinkable to go against a word of government in most historical societies. But the Founding Fathers and the Constitution reinvented what it could mean to be patriotic in the eyes of our country. In simple reflection of all that this country is made up of, it's hard to pinpoint just one aspect that is so intrinsically and independently beautiful. However, one thing will always stand true to all Americans, that this country is based in the very revolution of modern ideas and freedoms. That this country is, has, and always will be a beacon of light and prosperity for all those around the world. That this country stands together in times of indifference to grow stronger because of one thing, the United States Constitution.
And now, last but certainly not least, Ariana Mahano. Did I say your last name right? Yes, okay.
Hi, my name is Ariana, and this is my essay. The American dream is something people seek when immigrating to the United States, believing they will be able to attain their own success in this new country, regardless of their social class background or poverty. For many people, this goal is attainable, and they're able to enjoy the same luxury as American citizens. In my case, as an immigrant, I came to this country by opportunity. The U.S. Constitution has a distinct meaning to me. When I was little, I didn't see the flaws my country had or paid attention to the structure of the government. I was a proud Salvadorian that was blessed with the opportunity to study and take part in extracurricular activities. As I grew as a human being, I realized that the opportunities available to me in El Salvador were a little bit different level compared to more developed countries, such as the United States. The U.S. Constitution is such an important part of what makes America be able to be a safe place for people to live, something that is not available in most countries. El Salvador is a third world country located in Central America. Many rights and freedoms that should be granted to its people are not, and are clouded by government corruption, gender inequality, and gang violence. By comparing the rights that the U.S. Constitution gives to its people, compared to the rights that smaller and poorer, less developed countries give to its citizens, people are not able to see a huge difference between both. In that sense, the U.S. Constitution means quite a lot to me as a U.S. resident, where my natural rights are protected, something that's not guaranteed in my country. The U.S. Constitution is the fundamental structure of the way our government is structured, giving an equal and fair distribution of the powers so that not one branch of government takes over the other one. Thus, the U.S. Constitution serves as a guide for the government on how to rule and adjust themselves in a way that will not violate people's natural rights as well as the way they will rule. This is sometimes overlooked due to the fact that people dismiss the importance of the way that the U.S. is structured. In my opinion, having a constitution helps the government be less restricting and give more protections to the people to ensure that all of its citizens and immigrants and visitors are given the best living experience. Although, unfortunately, sometimes the Constitution can be misinterpreted by the people and even the government, which is something that needs to be changed in future years. In the end, Americans are born with the freedom and rights by just being born in the U.S., thanks to the U.S. Constitution. Some people take this for granted by failing to realize how privileged they are comparing to the people that live in countries that are at war and in less developed countries. This ideology is what makes people from other countries want to chase their American dream and be able to feel safe and free. The Constitution means so much to people who are given the chance to be heard, the chance to have the rights, and the chance to not fear for their life, since the Constitution gives opportunity to all people. Thank you.
Thank you to all students who participated in the contest this year, and congratulations to you 5 for placing within the top 5. Before we move on, I do want to acknowledge the fact that their teachers are here, so if you are a teacher of one of the wonderful winners, please stand. We truly appreciate everything you do each year for your students in and out. At this time, we will present the awards to our students. I will ask that before you guys leave today that you stay for some pictures, and also Mr. Miner has the prizes. So I will be giving you your certificate, and then at the end of the conclusion of the program, Mr. Miner will give you your cash prizes. Okay. When your name is called, please come to the podium and accept your certificate. Please know that no matter the place you receive, that each one of your essays were inspirational and unique, truly showcasing the amazing diversity of our students across the district. There were many submissions, and all of yours truly had an impact on our judges. 1 second. In 5th place from Lakewood Ranch High School, Ariana, Mahano. And you can stay up here. Okay. In 4th place from Palmetto High School, Mia Rook. In 3rd place, also from Lakewood Ranch High School, Jordan Baker. In 2nd place, unfortunately, she's not here today, but she did win 2nd place, and she's from Bayshore High School, and that's Lopez Ignacio. And finally, in 1st place from Palmetto High School, Alexandra Vernon. I could not be prouder of each and every one of you, and I cannot wait to see the great things you continue to do. At this time, we will conclude our program, and I invite Carol to come to the podium for some closing remarks.
These students who have taken part and presented their essays to us today are truly inspirational to all of us, and they're a great reminder of what a wonderful country we all live in. So I want to congratulate each of you for your prize-winning abilities, and thank Addison again for her rendition of the national anthem. And we have a tradition in Rotary that at the conclusion of our programs, we have a 4-way test. And I would invite all of you to stand and participate with us. So the 4-way test is on this banner in the front. Tim, would you like to lead us in the 4-way test? The truth. Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will be beneficial to all concerned. So thank you all for coming. Thank you to the students and the proud parents of these students and the proud teachers. So
Thank you very much for being here. This is a great event. Kids, students, congratulations on doing a wonderful job and being here today. Thank you. Thank you.
So I would just add to his thanks and say the Rotary Club of Bradenton was very proud to sponsor this awards presentation. And we are very grateful that you are all here. And once again, we'll congratulate our students and conclude the meeting. So thank you very much.